If you haven't been spring hopping in Florida, you must add this to your bucket list. We went 3 years ago, and then we went again just a few weeks before school started. And let me tell you, it is not a secret anymore. There were a lot of people at the springs. I want to go back in the fall when all the manatees come in. So next time we do the trip, we will for sure be doing a Monday through Friday trip. All of the native Floridians go to the springs on the weekends, and when the springs reach capacity, they do close the gates and turn people away. So live and learn. Hands down, our number one favorite spring is Ichetucknee. You can tube it at one entrance, and then there are 2 different swimming holes at the other entrance. Make sure you know which one you're going to before you go. You pay for your tube, and then you pay for a trolley ticket back to the entrance. But what we would do differently is probably not pay for the inner tubes and bring our paddle boards next time, and just bring our own inner tubes to save some money. Because then you kind of run into the incident that we ran into. My dad's inner tube had a hole in it, and we had to get him a replacement tube, and that did take quite a while to get. So you're just better off bringing your own floats. The Head Spring and Blue Hole at Ichetucknee Springs are our favorite springs to swim at. They never disappoint. There's always fish and wildlife, and it's always crystal clear. So invest in some good snorkel gear. You also want a few noodles. Me and my friend ended up carrying most of the noodles half the time, but they're just good to have so the kids don't get worn out, because the water is really deep in the middle. We camped at Ichetucknee Springs Campground, which is not actually affiliated with the state park at all, but it's like right down the road. And it's like a little homestead. They have so many animals. The kids love it. I guess it probably would be a nightmare with toddlers if, they're wanting to go pet all the animals every time you go to the bathroom. But my kids are older, so, I could let them go over there by themselves and pet all the chickens and donkeys and cows and goats. And the goats just roam free. I wish I had my camera with me at one point. They were following us to the bathroom. It was hilarious and awesome, and I thought it was in heaven. They also have a brand new bathhouse, which was a big upgrade from what they had from before. We also visited the swimming hole at Rainbow Springs, but let me be honest with you, don't waste your time. These are the only 2 pictures I got. Let me tell you, there were so many bodies. I felt like I was at the old Dallas pool on a Saturday in the middle of July before they shut it down. No joke, bodies everywhere. Now this green hole is Poe Springs. It was pretty, but it was definitely not clear blue water. It was more of this green color, and it wasn't as clear as you can see. The kids loved swimming it. There wasn't as many people here. As we were leaving, we did notice that you could actually swim out to what looked more like a creek, and some older kids were swinging off of a rope swing, so it looked pretty fun. One more thing about Rainbow Springs, make sure you are putting in the correct entrance in your GPS, because we waited in this super long line and we were at the wrong entrance. So I do want to go back to Rainbow Springs and actually tube and paddleboard the Rainbow River, though. I feel like that would be a lot of fun. This is the beautiful pathway or driveway to Ginnie Springs. All the live oaks and Spanish moss are like, I can't even tell you how much joy it brings me. Ginnie Springs was definitely more of a party crowd. The river itself was really wide and more like lake water. The bottom wasn't sandy, it was more rocky. I really wish we would have had regular inner tubes, but all me and my friend had were pool noodles. And then the kids, the teenagers, and the husband took the paddle boards. So we were pretty much trying to keep up with them the entire time. I mean, hey, it was a good calf workout, I guess. My calves were cramping. I don't know. So Ginnie Springs is actually made up of 5 different springs, and you kind of tube or raft in between each one. We did find one spring off to the right that wasn't on the map that not hardly anybody was stopping at. This is the main Ginnie Spring, and as you can see, again, bodies everywhere, and I believe this was a Friday. Don't know that I would bring my kids back to this one. This is definitely more of like a girls' trip, hangout time. There were lots of people with coolers and alcohol and smelling of a lot of bears, if you know what I mean. And even though on their website they clearly state in many places not to bring DJ equipment and speakers, there was definitely music coming from each group of inner tubes tied together. As you can see, our older kids loved the few different spots where you could stop and rope swing in, but we just kept going back to Ichetucknee. All the springs at state parks are only $5 or $6 per carload to get in, whereas Ginnie was like $25 a person, and then kids were a little bit cheaper. One of the springs that I want to go back to that we didn't go back to this time is Gilchrist. It definitely has a bigger beachy area, and then you can also paddleboard off into the trees. There's a pretty short driving distance between all of the springs, except for Rainbow. It was an hour and a half away, so that day we did plan on eating out, and we ate at Swampy's, which was right on Rainbow River. It was really hot because the ceiling fans were broken above us, but the food was really good. I will say, although we absolutely love Ichetucknee Springs Campground, on the last night there were so many people there, and they were not set up electrically to support that many campers. So just next time I will be calling ahead and making sure they've updated their electrical equipment, because we totally blew a transformer. And I'm not saying we're the reason that the transformer blew, but we do run air conditioners in our tents. We are a little bougie. So bougie, in fact, that I googled how long my Pacifica would run on a full tank of gas with the air running. 63 hours, baby. So guess who slept in the car all night? These gals.